Salutation Ashes Nation. Today I am playing my Phoenix League game versus Mitch B. Today I will be playing the updated version of my Collection of Ashes deck, Wildfire version 1.1. For those who do not know, it is an Aradel Cinder Spirit deck based around the synergy with Time Hopper and Aradel's large battlefield, as well as all this status package and why am I blinking on the name? Indigo Creeper. Alright, so as you can see here, I have a very large spell board with a lot of flexibility. I believe this is Mitch's Knight deck, so might be safe to start a 2 shadows. Might be safe to start a... Is it crazy to start Goron Rock Brawler? It's really bad if the Goron Rock gets caught by Chaos Gravity, but it's really good because 5 life is tough to remove from my opponent. Maybe not, it's kind of vulnerable to Sonic Pulse from Sonic Swordsman. Alright, let's start with the basics, right? Cinder Spirit. This is an Indigo Creeper matchup. It is probably a Time Hopper matchup. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 with Aradel. Maybe I don't start 2 shadows, and instead I start... Pain Shaman is good against Realm Walker with Water Blast, but maybe not. Oh man, I don't know. Thinking. Maybe we do Turtle Guard, Time Hopper, Needle Creeper, Cinder Spirit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 with... And for 2 dice, And then for 2 dice, yeah, Pain Shaman actually. Suppose. I think that looks good. Let's do this. My opponent can start first. Alright, summon Lightbringer. I will meditate the dice I need. Alright, so yeah, I play Summon Cinder Spirit, I meditate. My opponent plays Summon Cloudburst Griffin, okay. Cloudburst Griffin is going to be a liability in the face of Water Blast, but I am not going to complain. I will play Summon Turtle Guard using a Sympathy die. Um, so two of my opponent's divine dice are going to be used on his spell board. So probably at most a Sonic. Alright, Realm Walker. Well, that's just a very juicy Pain Shaman plus Water Blast. I can maybe wait to see what my opponent wants to do, right? I don't need to jump in head first, right? Yeah, I'll just wait. Keep the surprise. Mm. Because like there's also a world where my opponent just really doesn't want to overextend into survival of the fittest, which is not in my deck but was in my collection deck. And alright, one Chaos Gravity gone, that is very good for me. My opponent meditates up for a Divine Die, so possibly we will see, yep, Sonic Swordsman here. So, okay, yeah. I think this is Chaos Gravity in my opponent's hand. And, wait, no, that doesn't make sense, because then my opponent would be floating a die. If my opponent plays Chaos... No, it could be Chaos Gravity plus Cloudburst Griffin. Yep, that could be what is going on here. I will... It could also be Time Magic Power. I'm not going to play into that. So... I believe I'll Water Blast plus Pain Shaman here. That seems to be a reasonable... I'll just play my book and meditate. And end my turn. That way, Lightbringer won't displace my Pain Shaman necessarily if I want to. I could have also just gone Water Blast here on the Realm Walker, force the attack. That might not have been crazy. Alright, my opponent passes. Yeah, I think now is the right time to go Water Blast, Pain Shaman. I'll start with Water Blast in case my opponent has Fade Reflection. It does not seem like my opponent has it. I'm wasting the heal value, but I don't think it's particularly important here. Denying the attack is more valuable in my opinion. And now, the nice thing is that like none of my units are particularly important. So whatever my opponent is going to Sonic Pulse won't be a big loss to me. I think here I summon Indigo Creeper. And I'll pass. And if my opponent does nothing, I will attack Indigo Creeper into Sonic Swordsman, so that the Sonic will die if my Turtle Guard guards. It also puts the Sonic into range of like Time Hopper attack plus Cinder Spirit Ping. Alternatively, I could try to line up Cinder Spirit to attack the Sonic Swordsman. Hit it for 4 clean. Alright, Cloudburst Griffin comes down. I'll attack Cloudburst Griffin with my Indigo Creeper. I don't think my opponent can afford to waste his guard here, right? So let's calculate this. My opponent is probably holding Chaos Gravity here. If I attack Cloudburst Griffin, my opponent guards. My opponent counterattacks on Pain Shaman, for example. I don't guard. Then I play something. Then my opponent Chaos Gravity exhausts. Let's say I play Cinder Spirit. Chaos Gravity exhausts Cinder Spirit on exhaust Cloudburst Griffin. My guard is not broken, and I am left with Time Hopper and Turtle Guard here. Yeah, actually, what I think I'll do is if my opponent has Chaos Gravity, I'll just go... Okay, my opponent guards. Yeah. My opponent guards as expected. If my opponent attacks here, I will... Yeah, I'll just charge Cinder Spirit and be ready to attack with the Cinder Spirit into an exhausted Cloudburst Griffin before my opponent gets Chaos Gravity value. I believe we are coming out of this round 1 pretty well, because I've got my Indigo Creeper set up, which my opponent will need to clean up eventually. I have Time Hopper ready to be focused eventually, although I have just meditated one other copy, unfortunately. And importantly, Water Blast is going to make the matchup very favorable in my direction against this face-up Cloudburst Griffin every round. Alright, my opponent passes. I'll just place a token here. My opponent could have like Rose Gardener plus Lightbringer, but it's kind of far-fetched and I don't think it's reasonable to play around that, so I'll just pass. It's possible I was supposed to attack the Cloudburst Griffin with my Pain Shaman actually. Now that I think about it, that was probably the play. Yeah. Alright, so here what happens if I guard? If I guard, then I attack Cloudburst Griffin for 1. And then Cloudburst Griffin is in range of Time Hopper. That sounds pretty good. Yeah, and then my opponent still needs to clean up the Pain Shaman. I think I'll guard here. But yeah, I was probably supposed to attack the Cloudburst Griffin instead of placing a status token on Cinder Spirit, because my opponent's guard was broken, so either Cloudburst Griffin takes 1 and Pain Shaman dies, or Cloudburst Griffin takes 1 and then my opponent attacks into the Pain Shaman, and then... Like it would have forced the action in a way that I believe would have been favorable for me. So yeah, I'll go Time Hopper, attack Cloudburst Griffin, make yeah. What happens if I play Turtle Guard? Opponent plays Chaos Gravity, Exhaust Turtle Guard on Exhaust Cloudburst Griffin. That is just not as good, yep. So we will summon Time Hopper, place the token here, attack here. I'm just creating a lot of bodies that my opponent needs to clean up eventually, and that Sonic Swordsman won't be able to... that Sonic Swordsman will just be overworked, basically. Alright, my opponent passes. So I summon Turtle Guard here. Yes. My opponent can't attack here because then I counter-attack into the Sonic Swordsman and kill it. Oh, right, forgot about Echo. Yeah, that makes sense. Sure. In that case, I summon Cloudburst Griffin. Because I think it's worth it to run the Chaos Gravity out of my opponent's hand, but I'm not sure at what cost. So let's think about this. I summon Cinder Spirit, and then I attack. Face, because yeah, Sonic Swordsman would just recover. If I attack face, then Chaos Gravity would exhaust Cinder Spirit, exhaust Turtle Guard once more, and then my opponent would be free to attack Indigo Creeper and Time Hopper. Yeah, I don't think I want to do that. I'll just pass, and then if my opponent passes, then I can summon Cinder Spirit. Ooh, it's Undaunted instead. Alright, I'll pass. And when my opponent attacks, then I'll summon Cinder Spirit and pass. No, yeah, my opponent attacks me and then I summon Cinder Spirit and hit face. Yep. If my opponent just wants to pass, I think it's fine, because basically he wastes his attack. For my opponent at this stage, this is after it destroys, this is when it is destroyed. My opponent won't want to kill Indigo Creeper, I believe, because otherwise then Cinder Spirit can charge it. Oh well, in fact, my opponent doesn't want to kill Indigo Creeper anyways, because Indigo Creeper will die at the end of the round. So the choice for my opponent here is attack Time Hopper, double exhaust Turtle Guard, or pass. My opponent decides to attack. Oh, attacking face also makes sense. Then, yeah, I summon Cinder Spirit, place a token on Time Hopper, and hit face. Then we go into next round, and I'm the first to act. So I have the opportunity to... depending on what I draw, I can pressure the Sonic Swordsman. Oh well, I have just found 2 shadows, so maybe that's not necessary. Let's think about this. I have found another Summon Time Hopper, so that is very good. My meditation, my roll was absolutely horrendous. and I do need to be conscious of my life total. So let's think about this. Cinder Spirit charged hit Sonic Swordsman down to 1 is not the worst. I could try to speedrun Luminous Ceiling. Basically, I summon Time Hopper, play Summon Time Hopper, activate Summon Time Hopper, place two Time Hoppers and both charge Luminous Ceiling. That gets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I would go to 7. My battlefield would be fairly close to being full, but that sounds pretty good. I think I'll do that. In the next turn I can pop Luminous Ceiling. And now I just have like a stream of 1/1s to pressure my opponent's units. And in those colors, unless my opponent is playing Rising Tide, AoE will be limited. It will come in the form of like Fork Lightning or Reverberate, in which case then I'm kind of breaking even because of the focus on Time Hopper plus the value of the status token. Alright, my opponent meditates a Summon Salamander Monk. Meditates a Light Swordsman and plays a Cloudburst Griffin. So my opponent is very not subtle about representing Fate Reflection. At this stage, I'll just attack with a Time Hopper on. I'll just attack with a Time Hopper against the Cloudburst Griffin, I believe. Actually, no, I think I'll just attack with the Cinder Spirit against the Cloudburst Griffin. And then I can Turtle Guard block the Griffin. Yeah, I think I'm happy if that Cinder Spirit breaks my opponent's guard. I will not play into the very face-up Fate Reflection, so. Well, this could be Sympathy Pain, huh? Okay. Sympathy Pain kills Turtle Guard, sets up to kill Turtle Guard. Okay, no, Sympathy Pain hits me. That is kind of scary. And now that was the turn I needed, because I needed to meditate for my cards. Alright, 2 Fate Reflection gone, 1 Reverberate in the bin, 1 Accelerate gone. Could be better, could be worse. My 1 of Clashing Tempers is also in the bin. But my opponent's guard is down now, so that's pretty good. Those bunnies will terrorize the battlefield. And Huntmaster will get a lot of value, I believe. My opponent attacks. Cloudburst Griffin attacks Turtle Guard, that is totally fine. Ink Spill. Slightly annoying, but it could be worse. My opponent discards Reverberate, representing the second Reverberate pretty hard. So I will need to be playing around that. I will not guard. And then I summon a Indiglo Creeper. I believe yes. And I will pass. Okay, my opponent meditates his second reverberate, so now that the reverberate he has in the hand is worth 3 cards, 3 ping. My opponent could also not have a reverberate in the hand, but then I'm not sure if I would have discarded reverberate. I don't know. Um, I won't ice trap that. I'll keep ice trap for next round possibly. So yeah, alright. Lightbringer comes down. I will just attack it with a Tom Hopper. Yep. Yeah, guard is down anyway, so yeah, this is just a clean trade. And yep, pass. As long as I'm denying. Yeah. The other thing I need to keep in mind is I'm at 7 life, so possibly I need to play around Chaos Gravity here. Opponent passes. Go Indigo Creeper attack Sonic Swordsman, I believe. I could also play Huntmaster and start to threaten stuff. No, I'll place a token on Summon Cinder Spirit and pass. My opponent uses a dice power, so my opponent's hand was not good. And probably he doesn't have the third reverberate, because then like it doesn't really make sense to use the dice power instead of cycling the reverberate as a redraw. My opponent passes again. I'll go Indigo Creeper, kill Cloudburst Griffin. No, I'll kill the Sonic. I'll hit the Sonic Swordsman. And then I'll pass. My opponent is not representing very much strength like a Chaos Gravity, so I don't think I'll play around that. My opponent is forgetting that Tom Hopper cannot block anyways, but I won't complain. So I'm weak to double Sympathy Pain. I'm weak to... Well, I don't need to make myself weak to Light Swordsman here right now. I can summon Raptor Herder, or better, summon Huntmaster, and 2 Shadows immediately. That is what I'll do. Like so. Yes. And I will cast 2 Shadows here. Alright, my opponent passes. I'm at 7 battlefield, so I only have room for 1 more. That one more will probably be a Cinder Spirit. And then I have a spare die to use on either Time Magic or Ice Trap. If my opponent keeps passing, my opponent could have Meteor to reset the board, which would be kind of annoying. What else? Not much. I'll go Huntmaster, swing face here. I think that's safe. Because my opponent's guard is down, so like whatever my opponent plays, I can ambush it. If my opponent passes here, I'll just summon Cinder Spirit and pass. I don't want to overextend still. Because like there's a chance my opponent has some crazy like accelerate or like another knight plus whatever, I don't really want to know. Like another knight plus like stand still and I'm dead. I don't want to open myself up to that. So yep. And then my opponent is dead to the backswing, I think. No, I don't want to discard. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Almost dead to the backswing. But I have like the seedling chain that is gonna start getting going. Echo activates now? What? For what? Weight of the world, okay. Sure. So this is not representing Meteor? I think I place a token on Summon Cinder Spirit and I meditate. I don't know, the blowout to Meteor is kind of bad, but still then my opponent is down 3 dice. I think I can survive that. Alright, now it's face up. I don't have a Fate Reflection. So my opponent might get a little bit more ambitious. But still then, I'm not sure what my opponent could have. Some Light Swordsman, I'll just Ice Trap that. I don't want to have to deal with it. Cloudburst Griffin comes down. So what I think I'll do here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I summon Cinder Spirit, place a token on Cinder Spirit, attack with both Cinder Spirits, double ping Cloudburst Griffin. But then the Cloudburst Griffin survives to with Fate Reflection. So maybe I think I'll just attack the Cloudburst Griffin with a Time Hopper. Oh well, no, yeah, actually, I'll just attack. Yeah, I'll attack the Cloudburst Griffin with a Cinder Spirit. and ping it. Play safe, yep. If my opponent wants to spend his Fate Reflection, I'm very happy here. This is bait, of course. Okay, my opponent decided to guard. So now I can nature ping it. Bait out the Fate Reflection once more. Maybe. That seems reasonable. Yep, Fate Reflection comes out. Is gonna deal with one of my weenies, one of my time hoppers. I still have 3 blockers, so I don't think I'm in risk of dying. Sympathy dice power, yeah, this is not going well for my opponent. And then opponent attacks. I'm not gonna, yeah, I can't guard actually, so. What am I even talking about? Yep, no guard. So summon Cinder Spirit, place a token on Luminous Seedling, clean up the Cloudburst Griffin with a Dom Hopper. Pass the turn. I have 2 battlefield space left. I can make room with a Nature's Wrath. My opponent passes. What could my opponent have? Summon Time Hopper onto Luminous Seedling. Crack Luminous Seedling is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Flush. That seems fine. If my opponent passes again, then I can attack for lethal. Lethal through a Figures in the Fog, actually, yeah. Also lethal through a Sympathy Pain. Light Swordsman comes down. Going to kill my Cinder Spirit. Going to kill a Brilliant Thorn, that's fine. I'm then going to play with fire. I'm going to inherit on... It really doesn't matter. My opponent says GG. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 flush. If I want to play around... Yeah, if I want to play around, I'm blanking on the name. If I want to play around Figures in the Fog, I'm supposed to summon Time Hopper here. So yeah, GG. I want ping to play around Fate Reflection, and yeah. Hopefully you've enjoyed this, you've enjoyed watching this game. It was a very good game to showcase the strength of Ardell Wildfire, as I call it. This is precisely the kind of matchup I want. A matchup that doesn't have too much ping, a matchup where my high attack units are able to find targets, where I'm able to pressure guard fairly well, where Water Blast shines very well, where Turtle Guard is really good against Light Swordsman. Of course, Turtle Guard is not. Turtle Guard is a flex, right? You can choose between Turtle Guard, Seafoam Snapper. Occasionally, in some weird matchups, you might try both Frost Bagbear and Indigo Creeper, but I wouldn't recommend it. Typically, Indigo Creeper is supposed to be replaced with Frost Bagbear when Indigo Creeper is bad, and vice versa. But yeah. As it turns out, my Goron What Brawler plan would have been pretty bad against Realm Walker. I don't think I have much else to say. Possibly I was supposed to start at 2 shadows. I'm not sure how you fit it in the hand. It's a little bit awkward. Possibly you don't try to go on the creeper plan, and that opens up enough room for a more mid-range 2 shadows plan with like less synergy, less fragile. If my opponent is on Diver, that does make you a little bit less vulnerable to Diver focus. But I was pretty sure Mitch wasn't playing Diver in that deck, so that's why I chose this first 5. The deck feels smoother without the splash for illusion like I had in the collection. It does mean that you lose out on Wolf Spin Down, which is kind of essential in certain circumstances. On the flip side, being able to play what you want reliably, spend all your dice reliably, not need to meditate into the ground reliably, all those are really good. I never found myself needing more nature dice or needing more time dice, getting choked where my hand is all just one color, or like all the cards I need to play are one color, and all the cards of the other color are kind of useless. Things like these. This is the kind of things you want to notice in the fine-tuning. Similarly, Ice Trap, I believe Ice Trapping Light Swordsman is high value enough that in this deck you don't mind using it like for an equal trade. Like in some decks, Ice Trap really needs to be a dice advantage card. It slots in as a dice advantage card, and like that flex slot should be a card that, like, it should be a Fester, it should be a Fork Lightning, it should be an Ice Trap. But like Ice Trap is a little bit weird because it's one of the best cards when it's good, but it's more narrow. Some decks will completely evade it. So in that case, then you want to make sure that if you have more than one copy, you are fine using it just as a tempo play, just as a way to deny your opponent tempo, or as a way to build tempo of your own. And in that deck, I believe you do enjoy the tempo of Ice Trap to make because your units are really good when they get to attack. They're really good when you get to play them, have a turn of respite where they aren't pressured, then charge them and attack. In that case, then like Ice Trap is just enough of a hiccup in your opponent's sequencing to give you that window, and then oftentimes the value of your units being like very over the curve when they do get to when the synergy gets to play out, can win the game. Apart from that, I don't have any notes. The deck feels great. And yeah, this week I chose to play this deck because I was afraid that Holier Frostfire cannot compete very well against the Chimera. And I believe this deck, with the addition of Gorn Rock Brawler, has a fantastic Chimera matchup because the Brawler is out of range of the Chimera ping, is out of range of the Chimera attack, and if my opponent places a bunch of pings or attacks into the Gorn Rock Brawler, I can use combat to heal it, so it's very good. And of course, like, in this deck specifically, Gorn Rock Brawler, like, you can use its ability semi-frequently because the time hopper charges do add up really fast. And of course, like, whenever you attack with it and you attack with Cinder Spirit, for example, you're gonna kill a bunch of units. So, all that being said, I believe this is it for me today. I hope you enjoyed this match, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.